was so struck by Monica's voice. It's so clear and it is so loud. And I was thinking about women's voices in the time that we're in right now. In some ways, they've never been stronger or clearer. We've obviously had this Me Too movement. So much has happened in 1 year. I wonder what your thoughts are on it. Are you surprised at how much has changed?
I'm surprised at how much has changed, but how much has not changed. And I think that's where the fire is coming from. Enough is enough. The world is a sadly dangerous place for women and girls, and we see that again and again. And I think young women are tired of it. They're tired of being undervalued. They're tired of being disregarded. They're tired of their voices not being invested in and heard. And it's not just around the world. That's happening right here in this country. And if we're going to change that, we have to give them the tools and the skills through education to be able to lift those voices up.
There are some who believe that the Me Too movement went to a point, and some say there's a backlash that's happening, that now men are saying, well, wait a minute, what about us? Your thoughts on that.
Well, that's what happens with change. The change is not a direct, smooth path. There's going to be bumps and resistance. I mean, there has been a status quo in terms of the way women have been treated, what their expectations have been in this society, and that is changing. And there's going to be a little upheaval. There's going to be a little discomfort. But I think it's up to the women out there to say, sorry. Sorry that you feel uncomfortable, but I'm now paving the way for the next generation. And we as mothers, we have to think about the path that we want to pave for our girls. And if we don't start setting the tone now, they're going to walk into a world where they're still dealing with those issues in the workplace and at home and in schools. And I don't want that for your girls. And they're young. Your girls are likely to be the beneficiaries of this work, this voice, these opportunities.
You've talked about getting out the vote. That's another of your initiatives. You were really candid recently saying, it's kind of depressing out there, politics. You could have easily checked out and lived a nice life. Why did you decide to engage? And when you say that politics is depressing right now, what do you mean by that?
Well, I chose to engage because there's no choice. I talked to some of the girls yesterday about that. They asked me a question about how do you stay resilient in the face of difficulty. And the thing I wanted to remind them, that I have to remind myself in times when I get down, is that change is hard and it takes time. And we are planting seeds every day. And the alternative is to do nothing, to say nothing, to sit back and watch things go unchanged. But with every statement that we make, with every act, with every dollar we spend on this issue, we're moving the needle. And that's what we have to do. We have to move it slowly but surely, and I certainly am going to play my part. I made a commitment to girls around the world when I was in the White House that I would not walk away from this issue when I left. And this is my fulfillment of that promise through the Obama Foundation.
Before I let you go, we only have a few seconds left. You've been asked 1 billion times, I think a few by me, would you ever run for elected office? And you always say, no way. But have you ever been asked, why not? Why not?
Yes, I've said it time and time again. This is the one thing you learn. You understand, as a woman, you understand where your voice works best, where you want to operate, what space you want to be in. I have never wanted to be a politician, and it's one of those things that nothing has changed in me to make me want to run for elected office. I want to serve. I want to do work. I want to be out there, but there's so many ways to make an impact. Politics is just not my thing. It's as simple as that. And that's what I want these girls. Find your passion. Don't let somebody tell you what they think you should do and who they think you should be. It's up to you to determine what your message and how you want to use your voice. And that's, this is how I want to work in the world. I want to work on positive issues with girls around the world.
It's great to have this conversation with Mrs. Obama.
Thank you for taking
We have a great concert coming up. We should also mention, if you want to find out more about the Global Girls Alliance, you can just go to today.com. All the information is there.